it's Carrie here, Get Your Vibe Right, and today I want to talk about the difference between ignoring something and denying something. So, as I work with women who are becoming more and more aware of how this world works and how our emotions and the way that we vibe is really sort of creating our outcomes in life, sometimes they get worried and they're like, oh my gosh, so these things that bother me about the world or make me upset, am I just supposed to deny they're not happening? Like this just isn't happening out there in the world? People aren't suffering, animals aren't suffering. I'm not having these experiences that make me feel bad. Am I just supposed to deny that even exists? And my answer to that is no, not at all. Denying something is all about resistance. It's all about it has a lot of energy to it, denial, right? We all know that denial is not a good place to be. We've all tried it. It never really works, let's face it, right? So it's not about denying that those things exist, because somewhere inside of us, we know that those things are true, that true for us anyway, and that they bother us and that's happening. So denial is something that underneath the surface is always going to kind of eat away at you. The truth of that is always going to eat away at you. Now, ignoring something might sound like the same thing, but what ignoring means is just taking my attention off of it. So instead of trying to push it down, deny, resist, it's just saying, okay, I know that those things exist. I have enough awareness to know that they really bother me. And that if I continue to focus on them, or if I deny them, that there's something inside of me is constantly going to be kind of gnawing away at me, either consciously if I'm focused on it, or subconsciously if I'm trying to deny it. So by ignoring something, it's making a very conscious choice to, yes, recognize this is happening, this does exist in the world, or this is happening in my life. But if you can turn your attention away from that and focus on something that is lighter, makes you happier, brings you joy, brings you pleasure, even if it's a memory or some future vision that you have, your physical response, your physical emotional response to ignoring this over here and focusing on this thing that makes me feel good vibes over here can start to shift the world around you. Because, as I always say, it's not what you do, it's how you vibe that determines your success and the results that you're getting in life. So if you're trying to move the needle on something that's really, 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 really bothering you, and you're just hammering away at it, and it's keeping you up at night, and it's super stressing you out, do you really think that the actions that you're taking are going to be effective enough to move the needle? Now, if you just divert your attention, take no action over here, just divert your attention to something that is going to make you feel higher vibrational emotions and feelings, then ultimately everything kind of rises up. Or at the very least, you can find a higher place to approach this from over here. And when we have a higher place of looking at something that is bothering us, sometimes we see solutions, we see opportunity and possibility that we could not possibly have ever seen when we were down in the trenches and the agony of it. So the art, I call it the art of knowing what to ignore. And the art of knowing what to ignore are the things that pull you down, that consume you, that keep you in low vibrational feelings. So when you can really start to hone the art of knowing what to ignore, but also consciously, very consciously focus upon things that bring you up and lift your vibe, you get to reapproach these things over here from a different perspective. And that can make all the difference in resolving whatever this is over here. So start to practice this art of knowing what to ignore and consciously choose the things that you want to focus on that will bring up your vibe every time. For some of us, it's our pets, right? Like, oh, those little bundles of furry joy. You just can't think about them without being happy, right? For others, it is a beach vacation, or maybe like a weekend of shopping, or pampering yourself, or reading a good book, a glass of wine with your best friend, whatever it is, whatever you always feel good about, start to focus on those things and set it up in advance so that when you shift away, you know what your target is, you know what you're going to be able to focus on, so you don't get lost somewhere in the middle, okay? So this is the difference between denying something and ignoring something for a while to lift up and reapproach it from a new space. So hopefully this has been helpful for you, and that you can see a place in your life where you could apply this today. Test it out. Do it for a couple of days. See if things change. If it's imminent and you can't ignore it, it's not the thing to do. If you could lay off it for a couple of days and just not focus on it, and your life isn't going to fall down around you, I recommend doing that. And practice. The more you practice this, the more you deliberately intend and think high vibrational conscious thoughts, the more your life in general is going to rise up. So please come. I have all kinds of ideas like this. I'm here to help you, and I want you to join the journey, and I don't want you to miss my next idea. So please subscribe, and I will see you here as we work on getting your vibe right.